We need to find out what is the disconnect between the 40 leads, because clearly whatever you're advertising is got a lot of attention. What you're talking about, what you're saying, and who you're advertising to is all a match, or else you wouldn't get the lead. That's amazing. But now we need to find out the next piece.
Hi, Balazs.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good.
Well, first of all, congratulations on crushing it. You wrote here in your question, glad to finally be live on the call. What time is it for you? Is it late?
No, 350.
Oh, 3:15. Okay, beautiful. When you get more leads than you can handle, which is an amazing problem to have, would you consider adding more automation to qualify them or other tips? I get 40 leads a day. That's amazing, by the way. 40 leads is a really, really great number. Also, with all the leads I'm getting, I would have expected to close at least one sale a week, which is not happening. And most of them drop off after watching the masterclass saying it's not for them. Any tips on that would be appreciated, as this is where I'm stuck in my business right now. Yeah, amazing. So the leads is not the metric for the one sale a week. The metric is calls per week. So you have a step between the 40 on how many you get on the phone. Are you currently relying on your own closing or through a platform or system or a closer? Like, are you expecting to bring people on yourself at the moment? Is that how you're doing it?
Yeah, right now I'm going on the call by myself. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So how many calls per week are you doing?
Not enough. I had one last week, but then I didn't have any for like 2 months or something like that.
Okay. So that's what we need to do is we need to find out what is the disconnect between the 40 leads, because clearly whatever you're advertising is got a lot of attention. What you're talking about, what you're saying, and who you're advertising to is all a match, or else you wouldn't get the lead. That's amazing. But now we need to find out the next piece. So the masterclass is where you feel like they are dropping off.
Yeah, because typically, when they watch a masterclass and I'll book the call, but if it's always not for me, then I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I have like a gap in between where it's hard for me to book more calls because they kind of drop off after watching the video.
So tell me what the masterclass is and who is doing it. Who's your audience? Who are you trying to bring into your business? Demographic, age,
Yeah,
gender,
Canadian
profession?
women in Canada. Between I targeted like 25 to like 45 years old, but I get older people, that's fine. And then like full-time workers that like kind of
Nine to
tired.
five type of thing?
Yeah.
Is it specific work?
Not specific, no.
Just 9 to 5 schedule, not enough time freedom, kind of more generic in the.
Yeah, and people are wanting
Is
to
it
learn
women or women and men?
women.
Okay, and who's in the master class and how old are they? Who's presenting?
It's Brody Nitro.
There you go. Is Brody a 25 to 40-year-old woman in Canada?
Another women for sure. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why. So when they say it's not for me, they don't see themselves as Brody.
Yeah.
That's
And
your disconnect.
okay. I don't know if it makes a difference, but before that, I sent another 5-minute video where it's more about community. And then there's like women and men to this. I'm there too, but yeah, I don't know if it makes any difference, but
So you know what your solution is? What do you try to guess what you think that your solution is?
doing my own web class.
100%. And you're going to crush it because you have all the confidence in the world. You get 40 leads a day. Are you serious? You have 40 people a day who want to work with you, and then you give them to Brody, and I love Brody, he's my brother, so no hate on Brody at all, but he's a dude from prison who looks like Jesus from Australia with an accent. It couldn't be more of a disconnect,
Right.
right? I love Brody, but if Brody advertised to Canadian women with jobs, Brody would have $0 and zero sales, and he would not be 682-3. But Brody is 682-3 because he is advertised to people who've had a rough past and they bang tools together in the trades, which is exactly who he is and where he comes from. And that's why he's 682-3 and he's made millions of dollars. So there's a congruency major disconnect for you at the moment.
Right.
So all you need to do is take the format, take the template, take the slides, which I'm sure are available to you if you ask, and then you literally just duplicate it. You get a transcription from something like an AI transcriber, or there's so many of them out there where it just transcribes the script of what Brody says word for word. You literally memorize that, you practice it, and you switch out his story with your story and all the pain points of his audience to yours. And that's your first version to test. And you need to test it in a way where you can see when someone watches the video where the drop off rate is. So you need to have some kind of software that shows you that most people, after 6 minutes, they stop watching. Then you look at the webinar that you did and you find out what are you saying at 6 minutes and you change it. You make it better. Then you test it again. And then you realize people watch it until 13 minutes. What are you saying at 13 minutes? Change it, do it again. And you'll probably have to do that 5 to 10 times before it just absolutely crushes. And then you're still going to have a problem because you're going to get probably more than 40 leads a day at that point. And you need to decide what is your ideal number of people who you want to work with as direct sales in a month. What's your max capacity? What's your dream number? Like if you could have any amount of direct sales in a month consistently every single month, what would be your choice?
I would say like 2 per week.
Okay, so let's just say 8 a month. Okay, so let me do some quick math for you here. So you get 1,200 leads a month average, according to 40 a day times 30. There's 1,200 people lined up. So imagine this. You're a Fortune 500 company. You're sitting on the top penthouse floor of your office building with your name on the outside. It says Bouchard Tower. And you're up there in the ivory tower at the top with your corner office overlooking New York. And there's 1,400 people downstairs lined up down the street, or 1,200, sorry, waiting for an interview with you to come upstairs to be a partner in your business. So they come up the elevator, they walk to the door, knock on the door, and then there's Brody Nitro sitting at the desk. And they all go back in the elevator and they leave. And they're like, I'm in the wrong building. It says Bouchard Tower. Who's why is Jesus here? Does that help paint the visual for you? What's happening?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Now, when you replace him in the chair, all of a sudden they walk in. Oh, hey. Hi, you're the famous lady in the ad on the internet. Oh, it's my turn. Have a seat. Well, you don't talk like that, but I would probably talk like that. Right? Have a seat. Let me ask you some questions. Why should you be the person that I help this month? Because I only work with 8 people, and you saw the lineup outside, right? So if we take everything that's happening on the internet, which is like this elusive, magical place, and we imagine the same scenario in real life, how crazy is it to have 1,400 people in a lineup to come talk to you? Like, wouldn't that be like a sight to behold? Right? You'd be like, whoa, that's what's happening, but you don't see it like that because it's just a magical number on your type form and you're getting 40 people and you don't think it's a big deal. It's a big deal. These are 1,200 real humans with real problems and they want your help. But because of this little bit of a shift that you need to make, because right now you're afraid of doing the web class, you're uncomfortable, you don't know if you're good, you think, and that's all totally normal. How you are feeling about it is totally normal. But even if this is the crazy part, okay? Hear me out here. Even if your web class sucked so bad, the fact that it's you, not Brody, you'll still get more book calls than Brody for your funnel. Even if it's the worst thing in the world that you would be embarrassed about, which I'm sure it won't be. But let's just use that as an example. You'll make more money than you're going to make not doing it. Isn't that exciting? It's like it's like imagine you're the worst interviewer on the planet, but you had 1,200 opportunities a month to screw up an interview. Do you think you could still fill 8 positions in your company? You're still gonna have way more people who say yes than you actually want. You're gonna have like 20 or 30 people be like, yeah, I'm in. And you'll be like, hold on a second. I still have to choose you because I only want eight. Do you see how this is making sense, right? So if you
Yeah.
just have this, okay, it's time. You've cracked the lead gen code. Now you just need to take ownership of the next step of your funnel. Now, at the end of that web class, instead of having a call to action to get started, where you're still giving them the power and the control to take the next step, that's when you're going to add the application. Okay, so you can have like a pre-qualifying one on the front because how are you getting the 40 leads a day? Is it an application or like an opt-in or what is the step that they're taking?
It's a direct message from a paid
So
ad.
they're sending you a DM.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. So that means that the quality of those leads compared to an application is not as high, right? The application would be worth more. So what you want to do is you want to get the 40 leads a day to watch the webinar that you are going to do. You decide who other women are in the community that are inspiring to you, case studies, successful people, maybe that you know them directly, maybe you don't, doesn't matter. You'll add those people's stories into your webinar, speak highly of them based on kind of the targeting and who you're trying to serve in your ads and your targeting. Because you want people to watch this and be like, oh my God, these ladies are just like me. You don't want it to be like, right now what's happening is they're not thinking about the business and the product and the system and the community. They're just thinking like, is that Jesus? I know I'm just making fun of Brody, but I call him Jesus to his face all the time. So he would laugh if he knew. Anyways, that's what they're thinking. They're like, I don't know. That's just it doesn't feel like this is for me. So that's the disconnect. Um, where was I going with that? So then at the end of your web class, you're going to mention, hey, listen, I get 40 leads a day. You don't say leads, you say, 40 interested people who want to learn how to make money online and create time freedom and quit their job and blah, 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 all the stuff that you normally say in your ads. But I'm only able to work with 8 people a month. And so if that is someone who you wants to be, like if you're ready to be that person, there's a button below this video for you to fill out a quick application. And if you're a good fit, myself or someone on my team will reach out to you to get on a more detailed call to see if we're aligned. And then we'll share with you next steps to get started if it's a good fit. Then you'll have the 40 maybe turn into 5 to 10. Even if all you did was have one person fill out the application from the 40 per day and it turned into 30 high quality applications a month, even if that's all that happened on the low end, just when you first get started with your own webinar, I mean, 10% of that, you would get 3 or 4 direct sales a month, which is basically what you said right there. I would have expected to close at least one sale. Those expectations are accurate if you do your own web class and you have an application at the end to work with you, then those numbers will be real. Fair?
Yeah.
The first one, don't overthink it. Do it as quickly as possible. Get the slides, record it, do it more naturally than rehearsed and scripted and perfect. Just be passionate, share your experience, get it out there, get it done, get it live, and then split test, for the first little while. Because right now your conversions are so bad with Brody's web class that I would even completely turn that off and switch all of that traffic to yours. And then if you can somehow get feedback from people, if they, like you said here, most of them drop off saying it's not for them. If you can somehow incentivize people to tell you why it's not for them and give you a little bit more detail, then all of that feedback you can work into your next version of your web class. Feedback is gold, and most of us don't ask for it often enough from the people who don't buy. We need to incentivize our leads who we are in conversation with who don't buy and tell us some bullshit like, oh, this isn't for me. And you're like, what do you mean it's not for you? Like, seriously, what do you mean it's not for you? Explain this to me. I'm genuinely shocked when you say it's not for you. And then they'll explain it to you. Oh, well, and then they'll say something ridiculous and you'll be like, okay, note to self, put that ridiculous shit in my next web class and address it. Because it really does sound pretty dumb. Like when people try to explain it, you're like, really? All right. But most of us just get so, what's the word? Like when they say it's not for them, we're like, oh, okay. All right. Right. But we want to lean into it, be like, tell me more. And then once they explain, you realize how ridiculous they sound because their explanation's like off to Mars. Like you're like, that doesn't even that's not even real or true. It is for them, but it's complete BS. Anyways, hopefully that's helpful. Is that helpful?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So your action steps between now and our next call in 2 weeks, what are you gonna do?
Work on the web class.
No, 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 no. What are you gonna do?
Make it done.
What are you gonna do?
Record the web class.
Record the web class, and that web class is gonna be live, and that web class is gonna have leads going to it, right? Okay. And then next call, I want to get an update from you, and I want to hear how that's going with the first bunch of people who went to the web class and watched it.